Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. As you can see, Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. And for this particular video, kindly let me know the name of the constituency you are watching us from. For example, I am doing this video from Kisumu Central, represented by Dr. Joshua Ron. Ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga today led Azimio brigades to a church service in Kajiado County, Kajiado Central constituency to be precise, and later on, Raila Odinga was expected to address a rally in Kitengela. By the time of doing this video, Raila Odinga and the team had just finished the church service. I know this video will actually come very late because I have to step out and then I'll come back later, probably around 8 in the night, to edit it. But the visit by Raila Odinga and the team to Kajiado, if you ask me, is significant politically speaking because it's the first political event Azimio brigades are actually attending together after Raila Odinga, in quotes, endorsed Raila Amolo Odinga in Bondo. But 2 or 3 things stood out for me during that event. The first thing that stood out for me was the fact that Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka was accompanied by a large number of politicians from Ukambani. I think there were 3 MPs or 4 MPs from Ukambani who accompanied Kalonzo, and then the 3 senators from Ukambani accompanied Kalonzo, and there were a large number of MCAs from Ukambani who accompanied Kalonzo Musyoka.
Pale mwisho tunaye Mheshimiwa Julius Mawage, ni mbunge wa Embakasi South, Nairobi County, chama cha Wiper. Na huyo mwenzake Mheshimiwa Boni Mwalika, ni mbunge wa Kitui Mashambani, Kitui Rural, Wiper.
And for me, if you ask me, that is a very good signal. Ukambani nation are trying to show Azimio. They are now trying to show their support to Kalonzo Musyoka, and anybody who cares will now start taking Kalonzo Musyoka seriously. Because let's agree, if you were to compare Martha Karua and Kalonzo, assuming each one of them were to compete for Azimio ticket, Kalonzo Musyoka would definitely have an upper hand because already he has members of parliament, he has senators, he has governors, he has MCs. Martha Karua, unless he will be able to convince some MPs from the other side, maybe the Jubilee MPs from the Kikuyu Nation, or maybe the ones from UDA to his side, to her side, Kalonzo is having an edge. So for me, that is something that I think Kalonzo Musyoka should continue doing. Number 2, the second thing that caught my attention was when the crowd demanded BABU OWINO to address them. And I thought to myself, why would the crowd everywhere, wherever BABU goes, they would demand for BABU OWINO?
Chama cha ODM. Pale mwisho tunaye Mheshimiwa Julius Mawage, ni mbunge wa Embakasi South, Nairobi County, chama cha Wiper. Na huyo mwenzake Mheshimiwa Boni Mwalika, ni mbunge wa Kitui Mashambani, Kitui Rural, Wiper. Na huyo Mheshimiwa BABU OWINO, ni mbunge wa Embakasi East, ODM. Ataongea saa yetu. Haya, dakika moja.
Asanteni sana vijana ra, warembo hai, wamama mne, mabishop tidim, wazee tialala. Asanteni sana kwa baba yetu mpendwa Raila Amolo Odinga, kwa mama wetu Mama Martha Karua, kwa baba wetu mwingine Baba Kalonzo Musyoka, kwa principals wetu, Principal Eugene Wamalwa, Principal ambaye ni Mwangi wa Iria kutoka kule Murang'a, Principal Jeremiah Kioni, kwa gavana wetu mpendwa, gavana wa Kajiado, gavana Lenku, kwa masenators wetu wote, mabishops wetu wote, wajumbe wote na viongozi wetu. Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
My conclusion is that if Kalonzo Musyoka were to be given, or Karua to be given the ODM or the Azimio ticket for the presidency, then they should consider BABU OWINO as a running mate. If that's not going to be the case, then BABU OWINO should play a key role during the campaigns. For example, assuming Kalonzo Musyoka will be the presidential candidate, then BABU is not a running mate, assuming to. Then it means Kalonzo Musyoka must find a way of ensuring that those popular individuals like BABU are the one who are given the opportunity to articulate issues affecting the country. Remember, when BABU was given the chance to speak, he also sneaked in the ghetto president, Gaucho. So that's the second thing that really caught my attention. The third thing that caught my attention was the statement by Eugene Wamalwa, where he explained why Azimio governors must actually work very closely with the president. This has been an issue. There are people who have been giving excuses and examples of governors. For example, when Luo governors welcomed Ruto, then MPs boycotted. So Wamalwa kind of explained why that's possible, because he was a cabinet minister for devolution. But what was the objective of Raila Odinga's visit to Kajiado? That's exactly what I want us to do in this video. But before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in, but let me not forget to thank the following people. You are seeing their names on the screen there for the coffee which they sent to me earlier. You can also do the same using the numbers you are seeing on your screen. Ladies and gentlemen, what was the objective of Raila Odinga's visit to Kajiado? Because remember, Martha Karua was there, Kalonzo Musyoka was there, Jeremiah Kioni was there, Mwangi Waria was there. Which other principal was missing? Maybe the only person who was missing in action was Wajakoya the Fifth. And I'm sure if Wajakoya the Fifth was also present, probably he would have been given the chance to also address the Kenyan, to address Kenyans, or the people of Kajiado would have demanded for him to address them. So which means Azimio really wanted to send a strong message by going to this event. For me, the first objective was they wanted to show unity. And that's why I begin by giving you the case of Ukambani leaders accompanying Kalonzo. You see, the truth is, after Raila Odinga kind of endorsed Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka last week, there are certain leaders within Azimio who did not like that move by Raila Odinga. Either they felt Raila Odinga made the announcement early, and also there are those who believe that Raila Odinga should not have made that announcement because he didn't really figure out the impact. There were those who thought that Azimio ought to have agreed on how they were going to choose their presidential candidate and maybe the aftermath. So to show unity, the Azimio brigades had to be brought together. And what a better way of Kajiado. So for me, if that was the intention, I think they've really achieved it. So for me, that was number two. I also tend to think that Raila Odinga is trying so hard to consolidate the Azimio strongholds. Some of these Azimio strongholds are actually under serious threats from William Ruto. William Ruto is trying to make inroads into some of those strongholds. And for example, if you take the case of Turkana, why do you think Raila Odinga went to Turkana? Turkana is one of the ODM strongholds. That is the fact. And that event, Raila Odinga has always attended that event throughout. Then the governor starts working with Ruto. Ruto instructs the governor not to allow Raila Odinga to speak, which means Raila Odinga had to come up with something to go and just address the people. So when Raila Odinga went, they organized such that he arrived in Lodwar, then he was welcomed, he went to town, he was also welcomed there, and that is what he wanted to do, to consolidate the stronghold. The same with Masaini. The Mak community have always stood with Raila Amolo Odinga. That is the honest truth. But the fact is, William Ruto is clearly out to challenge that. He wants to win the support of those regions. The bad news for Raila Odinga is that in Narok County, he doesn't have a governor, which means in Narok, he will have to depend on the member of parliament. I don't know how many members of parliament ODM has in Narok County, but the senator is with Azimio, a strong supporter of Raila Odinga. Then you go to Kajiado, which for the first time, ODM won 3 seats. The last time it was only Memusi. This time around, there are 3 MPs out of 5. And the truth is, the numbers would have gone higher if Wiper had not sponsored some candidates against ODM candidates. So which means Narok is also ODM strongholds. But in Narok, Ruto is keen on changing the tide. So he has managed to win the support of the Kajiado Central MP, Elijah Memusi, one of my favorite members of parliament, by the way, in ODM party. I really love that guy. And I personally went to his constituency during those times, and I really campaigned for him. So Raila Odinga is trying to consolidate. And that's why he even chose Kajiado Central. I'm sure by going to Kajiado, Raila Odinga has probably identified other candidates who are now preparing to challenge Memusi. And he also wanted to confirm to the people that indeed he's still the king down there. So for me, that is the second objective. The third objective for me was that Raila Odinga wanted to gauge the reaction of his supporters on the possibility of Kalonzo Musyoka being the presidential candidate or the possibility of Raila Odinga not being on the ballot. I was not present, but when the Kitui senator was speaking, and he gave a very strong support to Raila Odinga that even if he's old enough, they'll still support him. I really would have wished to see how the crowd reacted to that. Just listening to this guy speaking here.
Baba, don't be silenced by anyone. Na sisi kama Azimio wa Baba, mimi nikuwa kiongozi na national level ya Azimio, nataka nikuhakikishie ya kwamba nimesikia mtu anaitwa Ruto anasema ati sasa wakati wa Baba wa kuondoka katika uongozi umefika. Baba, nataka nikuhakikishie ya kwamba sisi tutasimama na wewe. Na ukichoka tunakushikilia mikono ili uendelee, kwa sababu we'll never let you go. Tutasimama na wewe Baba. Na yale maneno nikimalizia ili mheshimiwa aseme, kuna maneno Baba ulisema tukiwa Bondo na mimi nilikuwa pale. I have never seen in my life, my heart is at peace Baba. Mimi sijaona mtu kiongozi Kenya hii who has ever captured the image and character of one Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka the way you did it, Baba. A honest man, faithful man, a man of God, a statesman, and a loving leader. Baba, yule akona shida na hiyo, wewe wachana na yeye. We know that is who Kalonzo Musyoka is. And this man, to stand with other people is second nature to him. He has done that many times without an effort.
So for me, the intention of this was to gauge the reaction. And I'm sure the intelligence team of Raila Odinga probably managed to gather a bit of intelligence. Previously, people like us would go early enough, would question people, what do you think? Baba sasa anasema ni Kalonzo, what do you think? Baba wache ama si wache? Then you would give the feedback. I'm sure Raila Odinga still has that kind of system, so that if the residents there are resistant, then probably they will be able to do that. Number 4, in my view, is that Raila and Azimio are trying to sustain or to maintain visibility. If they will lose visibility, William Ruto and his brigades will run away with the visibility. Because William Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya. He enjoys the state machinery, which means William Ruto can easily move around in the name of development, play politics here, organize a church function there, play politics there. But if Raila Odinga and Azimio are not careful, then they'll be forgotten. And that's why, in my view, I tend to think Raila Odinga and Azimio are trying to maintain that visibility, which for me is very, very important. And lastly, I want to believe that the other intention is really to sustain the anti-William Ruto's campaign. You know, that campaign began, it escalated into protest, then there's the talks, then after the talks, now they have to go to the people, explain to the people. For example, William Ruto was in Nairobi County today, and I listened to him, and he's trying really to justify some of the mistakes which his government is committing. And William Ruto is kind of trying again to go back to the kind of the religious man he used the platform to campaign on. For example, William Ruto was telling people how he prayed for the rains and rains came, how he prayed for the El Nino not to come and El Nino is not coming. William Ruto was telling those people how, for example, the taxation, the new help model is going to favor the poor people. While we all know that very many poor people are not beneficiaries of that. The high taxation, he was justifying why he has to tax people, that majority of people who are earning 200,000. How many civil servants in this country do you think earn 200,000? Even in NGOs, how many? Very few people. But William Ruto is now keen on trying to justify. And that's why it's important for Raila Odinga and the team to sustain those anti-William Ruto's campaign by telling Kenyans, like if it's this issue of help, challenge people on the crowd there, ask them, ni nini hiyo? How many of you here wamepata hiyo loan? If it's about taxation, targeting the rich only, ask the people who are attending the rally, just challenge them to show by hands how many of them are earning. Forget about 200, Ruto was talking about 200,000. How many are earning more than 60,000? You'll be shocked that Kenyans are earning just between 20,000 to 60,000 or 20,000 to 100,000. And those are the middle class. Majority of Kenyans, they can't even pay tax. I don't know what to think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.